In this week's video we will change the old crusty floors in my garage to brand new epoxy floors, so stay tuned and find out how we did it and ended up with this beautiful result. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. As you can see in front of me, we got some paint because we're standing in my new workshop. If you missed last week's video, let me get you guys up to speed. We got this place a few weeks ago and we want to restore our cars in here. We needed more space. This opportunity popped up and we took it. This space is a little bit big for myself, so over time I'll be renting spots out to other people as well. But this will give us a great opportunity to work on my cars and also first and foremost our Pajero. So in order to work in here, we need to seal the floors. These floors are now raw concrete and we need to put something on top, so in case we spill some oil or some coolant, it can't go into the floors. So in order to seal these floors, we've been sent paint by our good friends over at BEKATEQ. They made us a great deal and we want to showcase this product in the workshop. This is a 2K epoxy floor paint for DIY use, but it has the same resistance as a professional product, which is perfect for us because we will be applying it ourselves and we want a good lasting finish on our floors. For color, we decided to go with the main area in a lighter color and the parking spots along the wall will go darker, as you see in this picture. As I said, this is a 2K product, meaning you will have to mix it. So you have your base, which is epoxy resin. You have your hardener, and this is translucent. If you want to go with a color, you add in some pigment, which we have as well in 2 different colors. But before applying this paint, the floor needs to be spotless, meaning it needs to be clean, free of dust and free of oil. In some areas, as here in the middle, and these lines you can see, we sanded the floor. This is to make sure that you have a good mechanical adhesion to the floor. This goes for areas where there's a lot of traffic over it, a lot of walking, or you put heavy machinery on top of. As you can see, these lighter areas have been sanded. All over this place there were these marking stripes from the previous use in here. There was some industrial site manufacturing something or something, and these were just their guiding stripes on the floor, I guess. We sanded all that away and then gave it like 3 good passes of cleaning, vacuuming of course, then with the floor cleaning machine, wiping it, and then one more time vacuuming just to make sure. That means these floors are now ready to get painted and we will start with that right now. So BEKATEQ supplied us also with all the things we will need to apply this paint. We get these fancy overshoes with some spikes on the bottom so we can walk all the paint while it's wet. That's like super smart. They also supplied us with enough rollers and an extension to do that. And most importantly, to mix the paint thoroughly, they supplied us with this thing here. I have no idea what it's called in English, but it looks cool. With the floors clean, it came time to lay down some primer. The primer is very similar to the paint. It consists of 2 components. One is the base, which is essentially your epoxy resin, and the other one is the hardener. You mix them in together. We chose to pour it into a bigger bucket, so it made mixing a little bit easier. Then you pour it out and make sure you spread it out as evenly as possible, making sure you get good coverage everywhere. Later we changed to a squeegee because that made spreading it way easier. The primer lays down nice and smooth, it's not really hard to work with and you get a nice shiny finish. Okay everyone, the first layer of primer is done. Here are a few things that we learned along the way. Make sure the area is clear, there's no stuff laying around and you can reach everything. Second of all, before you start even mixing the paint, make sure all your equipment is ready. Make sure you have your rollers ready. Make sure you put your spike shoes on. And make sure you have your safety equipment like gloves and breathing mask also aside of it. Then you pour out the paint, squeegee it so it's more or less even, and then you first start with your roller. First you go in one direction and then you come back in another direction. And that's how it's done. Let's get on with the second bucket. Okay everyone, we're done with the primer. It went down relatively nice, but it's a physically exhausting job. I'm quite exhausted, I'm sweaty, I'm ready to go home, but this needs to dry now anyway, at least 24 hours. So we will check back tomorrow if it's dry, and then we can put down the top coat with the color pigment in it. So for my first time, it's of course not the most perfect result. There's some like little stones that were still laying around here and there. Maybe there were some spots that weren't as clean as we thought, but overall I think it will be a decent outcome and we will check back tomorrow. Peace. So if you liked the process so far, make sure you like this video and leave a comment if you could do this yourself. Alright everyone, it's the second day now. The first coat is more or less dry. You shouldn't wait too long before applying the top coat. Maximum is 3 days. If you wait longer than 3 days, you have to sand it all over again to get good adhesion. Now we will paint the top coat. The top coat is a similar system to the primer we put down. We have our base and a hardener, but in this step we will add some color pigment as well to give it its final color and get a cool finish. I want to divide this space into two, meaning I have two different colors for the space. The space closer to that wall over there will get a darker color and the main work area will get a lighter color. I want to measure now, divide the space, put down a line, and then I'll get started with painting. Alright everyone, as you can see behind me I marked the line dividing the two spaces and I will get to mixing now and then we start painting. Mixing this paint is very similar to the primer, apart from the step that you mix in some color pigment. This color pigment again is pre-measured, so you just dump in the whole bottle and you get even color. Mix this very thoroughly until you see no more striping to ensure you get a nice even finish across the surface. Once that is mixed thoroughly, you can add in your hardener. Again, it's pre-measured, so you can't mess up the ratio. From now on you have 35 minutes, so better set a timer so you know your working time and you know when the paint will get sticky. Mix that again thoroughly, and when it's evenly mixed, you can pour it out into another bucket and scrape out the sides of the bucket it came in, so you make sure no unmixed paint gets left behind. You mix it one more time and you're good to go. When it comes time to pour out your paint, make sure you go in sort of like a snake pattern. That way you can about guess what area you can coat with it, and it makes spreading it around later way easier. To spread it around I use the squeegee because it makes work so much quicker instead of just spreading with the roller. I just pull it from side to side, making sure I get about even coverage everywhere. And then I come back with my roller to thin it out and get it a nice even finish. Make sure that you don't thin it out too much around the edges, otherwise you can have some discoloration, especially on the corners. And then I just repeated that step a few more times until the whole surface was coated. So first coat is done. It's the third day now. Now we will move on to the rear and we'll paint the darker color. Yesterday was absolutely brutal. It turned out really nice, but today I got some help coming. A buddy of mine will help me and it will move a lot quicker. So stay tuned for that. Two things I have to add. When you apply this, make sure you have a squeegee at hand. That makes life so much easier. And secondly, don't thin it out too much on the edges. Lay it heavy everywhere because you can see just the slightest bit of bordering in between passes, in between buckets. So lay it on nice and thick, make like sharp edges, and you'll be good to go. Okay everyone, it's day 4 today. It's been brutal, but the results speak for themselves. Yesterday we did the darker parts, in the evening I did the corner back there, and now I want to go over this white bit one more time, because right here in the middle and a little bit further to the left there's a little bit of a thin spot, and I want to fix that. I will mix up one more bucket of the white paint and we will finish this thing. try to spread it as evenly as possible. Just like that, the squeegeeing part is done, and we will start with the roller. So this area behind me is rolled now, as well as the one in the back. Now I'll move on to the corners, just do some touch-ups. I have like 8 more minutes to work with the paint, so I'll just look at any spots that are not 100% and just go over one more time. What I'm doing right now is not 100% how you should do it, because in between layers and in between buckets there will be always a slight nuance of color difference. If you want to avoid that, you should work wet in wet and lay it down heavy. Alright, this wraps up our 4-day painting extravaganza. I have to say, this stuff is really easy to work with. It lays down really nice, but prep is key. Make sure your floor is extra clean, free of oil, sand it if necessary, and you will have no problem at all working with this paint. Thanks again to the BEKATEQ team, who cut us a great deal on this product. And we got the chance to showcase it here for you guys. Check the link in the description for sure. And now we need to wait a few days until this is fully dry to show you the final results.